All right, listen up. Claude Code just got a massive upgrade. And I'm not talking about some minor patch. We're talking about 5 brand new superpowers that are going to turn it from just a coding assistant into a legit autonomous coding partner. Seriously, this isn't just an update, it's a whole new way of working.
So, what are these 5 superpowers? They're plugins, hooks, subagents, MCP servers, and skills. We're going to break down all 5 right now. No fluff, no filler, let's just get straight into it.
All right, first up, plugins. Honestly, the best way to think about these, it's like an app store for your AI. Yeah, seriously, they're these pre-packaged feature packs that bundle up entire workflows in tool sets, and you can install them with just a single command. And you see, a plugin isn't just one simple tool. It's more like a container, a whole toolkit in one. It can bundle together custom slash commands, those sub-agents we'll talk about later, connections to other tools, and even hooks, all in one neat, shareable package. This is basically becoming the standard way to share a totally customized Claude setup. I mean, just look how easy this is. Let's take this Superpowers plugin, for example. First, you add the marketplace. Then, you type plugin install Superpowers, and boom. Instantly, you've unlocked this whole new suite of commands. You're not just asking for code anymore. No, you're kicking off these structured, high-level processes for brainstorming, for planning, and then for execution. So what's the real result of all this? The bottom line is that plugins force Claude to adopt a senior-level workflow, right? It now has a mandatory process. It has to brainstorm, it has to design, and it has to plan all before it even starts coding. This is an absolute game changer for code quality. Okay, let's jump to superpower number 2, hooks. So if plugins are the app store, then you can think of hooks as your automation rules. They literally let you program Claude's behavior, setting up these guardrails and automatic actions that just fire off when specific things happen. Think about it this way. Without hooks, you're basically babysitting the AI all the time. But with hooks, you can automate everything. You want to auto-format every file with Prettier? Done. You want to require a safety check before it runs a dangerous command like rm-rf? You just set it up. You can even get desktop notifications when Claude actually needs your help, so you can stop constantly checking in on it. All right, superpower number 3 is sub-agents. And this, my friends, is where we get into true parallel development. I want you to think of these as your own personal team of AI specialists. You can just delegate tasks to them, and you just keep on working. Now, the real magic here is that each sub-agent has its own isolated context window. This is huge. It prevents what's called context poisoning. You know, when your main chat gets all cluttered up with a bunch of research files and noise. The sub-agent does all the heavy lifting in its own little sandbox and then just hands you back the final result. It keeps your main conversation clean and super focused. So, this is what that non-blocking workflow actually looks like. You delegate a task, maybe tell it to write tests for the new API. Then you just hit Control-B and poof, it's sent to the background. Your prompt is free again. You can keep coding the main feature, and then you'll just get a little notification when the tests are done. It's basically asynchronous development, but with an AI team doing the work. Okay, moving on to superpower number 4, MCP Servers. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and you need to pay attention to this one. This is the foundational layer, the bedrock that lets Claude connect to pretty much any external tool you can imagine. Honestly, the perfect analogy here is USB. Remember before USB? Every single device had its own stupid proprietary cable. It was a total mess, right? Well, MCP is that universal standard, but for AI. It defines a common language so that any tool can just plug directly into your agent. No more adapters, no more custom integrations. And when I say any tool, I mean your entire stack. With one simple command, you can give Claude direct access to your GitHub repos, your Postgres database, your Playwright test suite. You can even hook it into your CI/CD pipeline. This is so important. You're not just asking the AI to write code about these tools anymore. You are literally handing it the keys to the kingdom so it can operate them directly. And that brings us to the 5th and I think the most advanced superpower of them all, skills. This is where things get really interesting. This is where Claude stops just following your instructions and starts to show proactive, context-aware expertise. Pay attention to this. The key word here is automatically. A slash command is something you have to type. A skill is something Claude discovers and applies all on its own, just because it recognizes the context. It's like packaged up expertise that just wakes up and activates itself when it's needed. So how does it do that? Well, the main way is through a special file called CLAUDE.md. You put this file in your project, and it gives Claude the high-level instructions and memory for that specific codebase. So when Claude is reading your files, it can trigger skills based on what it sees. For example, if it sees you're in a test file, bam, it might automatically apply a test-driven development skill. Or if it runs into an error log, it could fire up a special systematic debugging skill. It just knows.
Okay, I know that's a lot, so you're probably asking, when do I use what? Well, think of this table as your go-to cheat sheet. For the permanent, always-on rules of your project, use that /claude.md file. Got a workflow you need to run on demand over and over? That's a / command. For a heavy research task or something you can run in parallel, delegate it to a subagent. And finally, when you have some expert knowledge you want Claude to just use automatically without being asked, that's when you package it up as a skill.
Okay, so we've just ripped through all 5 superpowers. Now, let's take a step back and see how they all fit together, how they form this one cohesive stack that lets you really orchestrate your new AI coding partner.
The best way to visualize this is as a stack of autonomy. Right at the bottom, the foundation, you've got MCP connecting all your tools to the outside world. Layered on top of that, you have hooks adding that event-driven automation. Then come the commands for your manual on-demand workflows, and the subagents for delegating tasks. And then, sitting right at the very top, you have skills providing that proactive, intelligent expertise. Mastering this entire stack, that's the real key here.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift. Your job as a developer is changing, like right now. You're not just a prompter anymore. That's old news. You are becoming an orchestrator, a conductor. You're managing a whole team of specialized AI agents to build, test, and deploy software. It is a completely new way of thinking about our jobs.
So after seeing all that, the big question is, for you, which one of these superpowers are you going to try out first? Are you going to jump in and package a workflow into a plugin? Or maybe set up a hook to finally automate your code formatting? Or, hey, maybe you're going to go big and build a specialized subagent for a complex task.
I want to know. Drop a comment below and tell me which one you're diving into first. And hey, while you're down there, make sure you subscribe, because our next explainer is the one you've been waiting for, a head-to-head showdown, Claude Code versus Cursor. You are not going to want to miss that one.